Hello students, welcome back to Theory of Automotive Engines. Myself, Dr. Sabrina Dansi, Professor and Head, Department of Automobile Engineering. Today, we are going to discuss about construction and working principle of four-stroke petrol engine. The common process in engines are the first one suction stroke, second one compression stroke, third one power or combustion or working stroke, fourth one exhaust stroke. When we talk about four-stroke petrol engine, in four-stroke engine the four events, namely suction, compression, power and exhaust, takes place inside the engine cylinder. The four events are completed in four stroke of the piston, that is two revolution of the crankshaft. The engine has got a valves for controlling the inlet of charge and outlet of exhaust gases. The opening and closing of the valve is controlled by cam fitted on camshaft. This is the typical construction of four-stroke petrol engine. The green color indication as an inlet manifold. The end of the inlet manifold we have an inlet valve. The red color indication is an exhaust manifold. The end of the exhaust manifold we have an exhaust valve. The spark plug has to be positioned exact center of the inlet valve and exhaust valve. This is the piston. The piston will move upward and downward through this cylinder. In this construction, the gauge pin has to be positioned the exact center of the piston. This is the connecting rod. This is the crank pin. This is the crank, and this is crankshaft. The first stroke, namely suction stroke. During the suction stroke, the piston will move from top dead center to bottom dead center. By the time the inlet valve is get open and the fresh air fuel mixture is drawn inside the cylinder. By the time the exhaust valve is remain closed position during this entire duration of the stroke. The second is the compression stroke. During this stroke, the piston will move from bottom dead center to top dead center by the time the both inlet valve and exhaust valve remain in the closed position. During the compression stroke, the charge taken in the cylinder is compressed due to upward movement of the piston. By the time the mixture of air and fuel is compressed in the cylinder and the mixture is get ignited by the spark plug at the end of this compression stroke. This is the third stroke, namely power stroke. After ignition of fuel, tremendous amount of heat is generated, causing very high pressure in the cylinder, which push the piston towards the downward direction. Due to that, the piston will move from top dead center to bottom dead center. That downward movement of the piston at this instant is called power stroke. The connecting rod transmits the power from the piston to the crankshaft, and crankshaft start to rotate. The fourth stroke is an exhaust stroke. During this stroke, piston move bottom dead center to top dead center. Namely, it is the upward movement. During the time, the exhaust valve is get open so that all the burned gases go out of the engine and the cylinder becomes ready to receive the thrust charges. During the stroke, inlet valve remains closed. With this short note, I would like to take you into Mosaic digital education and learning platform. This Mosaic digital education learning platform is a 3D enabled digital learning platform. So with the help of Mosaic digital education learning platform, I'd like to explain the construction and working of 4-stroke petrol engine. This is the typical construction of a vehicle. So namely, this is the car. So this particular vehicle, in the front we have a radiator, and just behind the radiator we have an engine, and we have a gearbox, and we have a drive shaft, and we have a petrol tank, and we have a driven shaft. The exact center we have a differential unit, and behind the vehicle we have an exhaust pipe. Now I'm going to explain the engine construction. In this engine construction, we have a timing belt, and this is an air filter, and this is the intake manifold, and this is the engine block, and the behind the engine block we have a gearbox, and this is the exhaust manifold, and the top one. So here we have an ignition distributor. So this ignition distributor has to distribute the spark to this 4 number of spark plug which has to be provided and top of the engine block. Based on number of spark plug provided on the engine block, we can able to decide, or we can able to say this particular engine is a 4-cylinder petrol engine. Right, now I just getting into this cylinder. Yeah, it is a fantastic 3D learning platform. So you just look at this engine. So in this particular working, so we can able to see all 4 engine, the 4 piston will move bottom dead center to top dead center, and top dead center to bottom dead center during the the respective cycle of the piston movements. Automatically inlet valve is get open and exhaust valve is get closed. Similarly, during the exhaust stroke, the exhaust valve get open, and all the burn gases will be taken away from the cylinder, and the cylinder is ready to receive the fresh charges from the inlet. Now I am going to detailedly discuss about the operation of 4-stroke petrol engine. Yeah, it is really fantastic. Okay, so I just explained very clearly. You just look at here. This is the suction stroke, and this is the compression stroke, and power stroke, and exhaust stroke. Now you just look at here. So during the first stroke, already I told you, the first stroke is in a suction stroke. So by the time the piston will be in the top dead center, during the time both inlet valve and exhaust valve gets remained closed. So for better understanding, I just enable the labeling. Okay, this is the inlet port, and this is the inlet valve, and this is the exhaust port, and this is the exhaust valve. So in between the inlet valve and exhaust valve, at the exact center, we are providing the spark plug. Now this is the explanation of the first stroke, namely is called suction stroke. During this time, the piston will be in the top dead center, and now you just look at, by using of the play bar, I just slightly moving. So once I start to move, automatically the piston will start to move downward. It means that the piston will start to move top dead center to bottom dead center. You just look at the inlet manifold, inlet or intake port. So the fresh air fuel mixture is getting into this cylinder, and automatically the inlet valve is get open, so that the fresh air fuel mixture is getting into the cylinder. So this is the first stroke. Now I just move on to the second stroke. So during this time, what happened? So we have a fresh air fuel mixture which is occupy this cylinder. So once the suction stroke completed, immediately the inlet valve is get closed. Already we know the exhaust valve is remain closed. Now what I have to do now? Again I just move this play bar. Automatically what happened? The piston will start to move from bottom dead center to top dead center. By the time the fresh air fuel mixture which is occupied inside the cylinder is get compressed. You just get compressed. You just see. You just look at. You just look at. You just get compressed. It's compressed till the piston will reach top dead center. You just look at. So the entire fresh air fuel mixture is get compressed on this very very small volume. Now the end of the stroke. At end of the stroke, the spark plug will give a spark so that the entire fuel gets combust. This is called this is the name of the stroke. Is the third stroke is called combustion stroke. You just look at here. When the piston will be top dead center, by the time the spark plug will given a spark, by the time the entire fuel get combusted, so that the tremendous amount of pressure will generated over above the piston, so that that particular pressure will push the piston towards the downward, so that the piston will move from top dead center to bottom dead center. Okay, now the black indications show that it is the burned gases. This is the fourth stroke. So during this stroke, what happened? Already we have discussed in the PowerPoint slide. So all the burned gases will escape through this exhaust port. By the time automatically the exhaust valve is get open. You just look at, once I just start to move, the piston will start to move from bottom dead center to top dead center. By the time simultaneously the exhaust valve is get open, so that all the burned gases easily escaped to the exhaust port, and it will be reached to the exhaust catalytic converter. So this is the beautiful example and operation of 4-stroke petrol engine: suction stroke, compression, power, and exhaust. So with this help of the Mosaic digital education learning, I have explained the working principle of 4-stroke petrol engine as well as the construction of 4-stroke petrol engine. On behalf of Hindustan College of Engineering Technology and the Department of Automobile Engineering, we thank Mosaic Digital Education Learning Platform for making us such a beautiful 3D learning environment. I hope this particular digital and educational learning, especially 3D learning platform, will help our students to understand the concept in better manner. And my dear students, due to this corona pandemic situation, kindly take these notes. Kindly wear mask, maintain the social distancing, and frequently use the sanitizer to throw out the coronavirus from our country. Thank you. Good day to all. Thanks for joining with this video. We'll meet again with next informative topic. Good day. Take care. Bye-bye.